to tell you, it's interesting. This next segment is one that many of us women may try to hide. I'm talking about corns on our feet. Raise your hand if you have corns. Nobody wants to admit, I raise my hand, I have corns. And I'm a runner. And for me, that's where a lot of it comes from. But the interesting thing is those corns could be hiding an underlying issue that's going on with your feet. And so that's what we're going to discuss here this morning with Dr. Stratus Lagateras. He is a foot and ankle surgeon. Let's give him a big round of applause this morning.
Thank you.
I have to laugh because I had to look down to pronounce your name right. I'm sure you get that a lot, right?
I do. It's not an easy name.
All right, so what is it that could be hiding underneath?
Well, typically when we see a corn on one of the digits of the toes, what we're seeing underneath there is a joint that has gotten a little bit out of line, and as that toe rubs on the inside of a shoe, it develops a painful callus that we know typically as a corn.
Right. And so when you have something like a corn, and we talk about the fact that it could be hiding an underlying issue, I'd never heard of hammer-toe, but describe to our audience what it is.
Well, a typical hammer-toe can come from a variety of different underlying issues. One can be simply hereditary.
Is this what it looks like?
Yes, a hammer-toe looks very much like this, where the proximal portion of the toe is kind of up, and the other goes down, creating this bump, and it's called this because it looks like a hammer, like you would hammer it. As these rub in the shoe, it causes the painful callus. It can be just bad luck. You might just get it just because. So lots of different reasons why you can get them.
So when we talk about treating our feet, I know that with corns, for me, I may put a pad over it or something, or use an ointment or something like that. I may not be treating what could be the more serious underlying problem, right?
That's absolutely correct. There are a lot of products that are available over the counter. You can also treat hammer-toes by wearing different types of shoes, wider shoes. But if that doesn't happen, then typically a surgical approach, if you're having pain, is the next best solution.
When you say surgery, a lot of people are like, I don't even want to think about that, because they know maybe about typical hammer-toe surgery that can be quite painful, right?
Right. In previous years, the best way to surgically treat a hammer-toe was to remove a portion of the joint and to use what we refer to as a K-wire that goes from the end of the toe through the joint to help to keep it in place. This was a very, very standard way to do a hammer-toe procedure, but it has a lot of complications. Typically, a patient has to have this wire sticking out of their toe for 4 to 6 weeks. It's also a tract for infection. Bacteria can settle onto the K-wire and enter into the bone, which can cause a tremendous amount of problems. The recuperation period could be 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks, it could be 6 weeks. So it was the best thing we had at the time to fix hammer-toes.
What about alternatives today?
Well, lots of good alternatives today, and primarily I think the MiToe procedure is an excellent procedure. It is an excellent way to correct a hammer-toe.
We had somebody in our studio not too long ago who did have hammer-toe, and when I tell you that her feet look like this, and then after the procedure, completely straight, and her recovery time, I think, is what I was most impressed with. She was able to really start to wear her shoes and get back to life in a very, very short period of time.
Yes, the MiToe procedure is an excellent way to correct hammer-toes.
All right, well, great information, and I'm just going to thank you, Dr. L. I'm not going to say the whole last name again. Great information. Thanks so much for coming by and sharing it with us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, and if you'd like more information about hammer-toes yourself, simply visit the website. It's MiToe.com.